During the chaos of the Second World War, when entire cities were burning and empires were collapsing, there was a darker race happening in secret laboratories, one that had nothing to do with weapons or armies. Hitler tried to build a machine that could bend time. It sounds impossible, but in the final years of the war, while Europe was falling apart, his scientists were allegedly working on something that didn't belong to their time. Deep in the Owl Mountains of Poland, hidden beneath layers of concrete and steel, they were said to be building a device unlike anything the world had seen. A massive metal bell that emitted a strange violet glow and caused nausea, burns, and even death to anyone who got too close. Its code name was Die Glocke, the bell. Officially, it never existed. No documents, no blueprints, no photographs. Yet multiple witnesses, from captured SS officers to Polish engineers, described the same thing. A device that seemed to manipulate gravity, radiation, or even time itself. Most historians dismiss it as post-war myth-making, but others argue the fragments of testimony, recovered tunnels, and unexplained magnetic readings around the Wenceslas mine suggest something was really tested there, something far ahead of its era. And if that's true, the question becomes terrifying. How close did they actually get? Before we continue, make sure you're subscribed if you like true stories based on real events, because what you're about to hear uncovers one of the most controversial and mysterious experiments ever linked to Nazi Germany. In 1944, the Nazi regime was falling apart. Allied forces were advancing from the west, Soviet troops from the east. But Hitler refused to surrender. Instead, he turned to a last-ditch strategy, so-called wonder weapons. Many of these were real, the V-2 rocket, the jet engine, the first cruise missiles. But one rumored project was different. It wasn't designed to destroy cities, it was said to control nature itself. This research was reportedly overseen by Hans Kammler, an SS general who managed Germany's secret weapons programs. Kammler directed rocket and construction projects across occupied Europe, and according to post-war interrogations, he may also have supervised something far stranger, a classified unit later referred to as the Wonder Weapon Project. Their supposed goal, to find a technological edge that could make gravity, or even time, behave differently. The main story of Die Glocke comes from Polish archives and post-war testimony attributed to a captured officer, Jakub Sporenberg. In 1945, Sporenberg allegedly told Allied interrogators that inside a mountain near the Wenceslas mine, German scientists built a chamber lined with ceramic tiles and thick concrete, more like a reactor core than a lab. Inside that chamber, according to his account, stood a bell-shaped device about 3 meters tall, suspended by heavy cables. It contained 2 rotating cylinders filled with a mercury-like liquid known only as Drum 525. When activated, the liquid supposedly spun violently, giving off a blue-violet glow and damaging nearby life. Sporenberg's interrogation files, if authentic, describe vegetation die-off, animal fatalities, and possible human casualties after each test. None of this has been verified through primary documentation, and mainstream historians view these details as unconfirmed. What seems clear is that in the final months of the war, the SS redirected major resources toward experimental energy research under Kammler's command. Then, in 1945, both Kammler and the alleged device disappeared. Was this project a misinterpreted reactor, a secret propulsion test, or simply a story built from fragments of rumor and fear? Because when Allied forces finally reached the facility, the bell was gone, and what they discovered instead would deepen the mystery even further. When Allied troops entered the Owl Mountains in May 1945, they expected to find underground rocket factories. Instead, they found silence and confusion. The tunnels beneath the Wenceslas mine were stripped clean. No machinery, no documents, just walls scarred by heat and circular black residue. Engineers later noted the marks were too even to come from explosives, more like something magnetic had been spinning fast enough to scorch concrete. Nearby stood a reinforced structure made of massive pillars, each slightly tilted inward. It looked less like a factory and more like a launch cradle. Whatever had been mounted there, it had vanished. After the war, as the Allies divided up German research, something unusual happened. While most blueprints were catalogued publicly, a few were marked Top Secret Magnetic Field Propulsion. In 1946, both the US and the Soviet Union began searching for rotational field generators, technology eerily similar to the rumored Bell design. At the center of it all was Hans Kammler, the SS general believed to have overseen Germany's most classified programs. Kammler managed rocket sites, underground bunkers, and construction for V-2 missile facilities, but his most sensitive projects remain undocumented. Official German records say he committed suicide near Prague in May 1945, yet no body was ever found. Years later, multiple intelligence officers claimed that Kammler survived and defected, possibly to the Americans under Operation Paperclip. The US government denied it, but around the same time, a sudden surge in advanced propulsion research appeared inside newly created defense labs. Then came 1947, the year flying saucers entered the global imagination. Newspaper reports described disc-shaped aircraft moving at speeds beyond known technology. Most were explainable, weather balloons, optical illusions, but a few official memos compared these objects to rotating bell-shaped devices capable of vertical acceleration. To historians, the resemblance is coincidence. To others, it's continuation. Germany's wartime scientists had already pioneered the jet engine, stealth coatings, and guided missiles. It's not impossible that fragments of unverified research survived in Cold War laboratories, evolving under new names and new flags. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union launched its own magnetic propulsion experiments, referencing captured German scientists and documents recovered in Silesia. Declassified Soviet archives mention an unnamed rotational field generator said to cause short-lived gravitational anomalies. Nothing more was ever released. The United States, too, kept digging. Air Force memos from the 1950s show experimental programs exploring electrogravitic propulsion. None mention the bell directly, but their timing and technology overlap almost perfectly with the original reports from Poland. Decades later, in the 1990s, local historians and explorers returned to the site of the Wenceslas mine. What they found reignited global curiosity, a massive concrete structure now known as the Henge. 12 enormous pillars stood in a perfect circle, each connected by steel rods and embedded with ceramic insulation. The geometry suggested it once supported a suspended object weighing several tons. When physicists placed instruments around it, they detected small but consistent magnetic fluctuations. Nothing dangerous, but unusual enough to defy simple explanation. Some attributed it to underground minerals or leftover wartime wiring. Others believed it was evidence of past high-energy experiments. Today, the site is fenced off and officially labeled hazardous. Visitors occasionally report compasses, spinning, or static interference near the structure, though these effects have never been scientifically verified. Still, for many who stand there, surrounded by quiet forest and cracked concrete, it's hard not to imagine what once filled that circle, a machine that may have glowed with violet light as it hummed beneath the mountains. So what exactly was Die Glocke? A failed reactor, a secret centrifuge, or something that went further than we've ever understood? Historians continue to debate it. The only certainty is that in the final months of the war, amid chaos and collapse, a group of scientists were conducting experiments so advanced that even today's experts struggle to explain the reports they left behind. And when the Reich finally fell, the machine, whatever it truly was, simply disappeared. By May 1945, the Third Reich had collapsed. Berlin lay in ruins, and its leaders were dead or captured. After the war, Allied investigators scoured bunkers and archives across Europe. They recovered thousands of blueprints and prototypes, yet nothing that confirmed the bell's existence. No device, no schematics, only scattered references in interrogation notes and reports. Most historians today view the bell as unverified, a blend of real wartime research and post-war myth born from chaos. Still, its story resurfaces whenever people discuss secret technology or time-bending experiments. In the 1950s, workers near the Wenceslas mine unearthed reinforced chambers fused by heat. Radiation readings were slightly higher than normal, and the area was sealed. No one could determine the cause: explosives, testing residues, or something else. Later, researchers found the circular concrete frame locals called the Henge. Magnetic field readings there showed minor irregularities, not dangerous, but enough to fuel speculation. The Polish government fenced off the site, citing safety concerns. Visitors sometimes claim compass malfunctions or static interference, though none of it has been verified. Captured German scientists later helped shape the rocket programs of the US and Soviet Union. Some had worked under Hans Kammler, the same SS official linked to the bell. Whether they ever mentioned it remains unknown, but their new research pushed both nations into the space age. That link keeps the legend alive. If Germany's rockets were real, could its stranger experiments have been too? Die Glocke stands as more than a missing machine, a reminder of how far ambition can reach when ethics vanish. Maybe it wasn't a device that bent time, but a moment in history when people tried to.